Hey, ShipRocked family and everyone out there on the internet and podcast land. Thank you for joining us on another episode here, episode 54 of Making Waves, the ShipRocked podcast. We are part of the Sound Talent Media family and the fastest growing rock podcast in the world. We've had nearly 7,000 downloads this year alone, and our community is stronger and more involved than ever. Thank you so much for the support. Remember to review, rate, subscribe, and share. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that you can hear that I am, this is Al McManus. I'm filling in for the lovely and talented Justin Press, who is not with us. I'm here with Chad Nicefield and a guest who I will introduce to you here shortly. Chad Nicefield, which my Siri refers to him as Chad Nicefield, which
the
is
one and only.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
So
also, it sounds like you made Justin die. But Justin,
I'm pinch hitting for Justin tonight. See, he's I think he's finishing up his master's degree at Barbizon, one of those things, you know.
Wow,
or like the Sally Struthers School of TV VCR repair.
Dude, we have to get way into Sally. I call my friend Struthers. That's our nickname to each other. Hey, Struthers.
That's fantastic. So our guest tonight is known to our community and the universe at large as having been seated at the throne as a member of the Cult since 2006 and has played with Testament, Exodus, and White Zombie. He's also known as one of the finest rock and roll drummers of his generation and beyond. He's also a three-time ShipRocked veteran, 2016, 2017, and 2019. And he's also a two-time All-Star on the legendary Motorhead's Motorboat Cruise. Certainly his greatest single career personal accomplishment is having played Aces High with me, Al McManus, as a member of the Stowaways in 2016. He's also one of the nicest and kindest souls we've had on the ship and always going above and beyond for our guests and community. You can see him perform with the Cult on October 27th in San Diego and November 5th in Biloxi, Mississippi, with, I'm sure, more tour dates to be announced. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely, the talented, the complex, Mr. John Tempesta.
What's up, guys? Man, good to see you all.
Yeah, man.
Wow, man.
I think you forgot 365-day award winner of the sexiest man alive too.
Right.
Are incredible looking. And look at those that can't see. I'm just angry for you.
Oh,
well,
man,
we'll go live to we'll go to live to Facebook in about 30 minutes with this, John, and then the folks will get their full.
Okay, we're not live right now.
No, we're recording for the podcast right now.
Oh, okay,
but the whole thing will go into the podcast.
Gotcha,
okay. Yeah, so we just hang out here, get
stuff like that. Can I do that?
Oh,
I have a filthy Bronx mouth. You know?
Fuck yes.
Hey, Archie.
Yeah. So before we started our little adventure here, you and Chad were comparing dog. You know, it used to be back in the day you guys would compare male genitalia, but as we get older and seasoned, we're comparing dogs these days, man, which is probably the way to go.
Absolutely. Dogs are the best, man. Honestly, like I was telling you guys earlier, every day it's my routine. I wake up at 6 a.m, have my coffee, take the dog to the park. I live up here by the Hollywood sign. There's a great dog park, and she has many friends, and we socialize, and that's how we start our day, man. So it's great.
Her name's Luna, right?
Luna, yeah. She got a few nicknames: Luna Fish, Looney Tunes, Right.
Yeah.
He's looking right now like,
now with a dog, you don't actually want to say lunatic because that would be.
Oh, I do say that too. No, I don't. But that could, once in a while.
Yeah.
She's really actually.
There's a pill for that.
Hello.
She's a cutie, and we were just introducing Carl. My Carlito is a maniac as well. I think they should meet. Yeah. Great. He's sleeping on my feet right now. Do you is this your first dog?
No, I grew up. I had so many dogs in my life. My dad was a hunter. He always had dogs in and out. My older brother would find stray dogs, and all of a sudden there's another dog. And oh God, at one point we had dogs, we had cats, there was chickens, there was a turtle at one point. It was insane. It's like a freaking zoo. And this isn't the Bronx, a small house with a small backyard. It's like freaking nuts, man.
Was that back when there were backyards in the Bronx, or is it still? It's been a while since.
Well, my mom still has the same house I grew up in, man. Same exact thing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's same mattress. So when I go home, I really go home. Never moved in that house and everything. It's crap now, but still it's home. My mom.
Sure.
So yeah. Sure. And it's the shanty my dad had built. He built a fiberglass shanty in the back. Kind of like a storage room. And so that became my drum room. And and it's still there, and it's because it's just fiberglass lining. It just made the drums project twice as loud.
Oh
so
man,
you can hear me from like 3 blocks away, man.
Yeah, it's like a drum shield. It's like a drum shield, but all 4 sides.
Absolutely. And I had a big kit with 26s in there, man, double bass, Powell style, dude. It would rumble. It was great.
Who bought you that first kit?
My next door neighbor. Actually, this is a great story. My next door neighbor, Charlie Castelluccio, he was now
he might be Chad, he might be from the Bronx.
Oh yeah, my next door neighbor. So Charlie is older than me. He's like, the same age as my oldest brother, Lenny. And Charlie now is an NYPD detective, but back then he was a drummer, and he was moving on to his next kit. He had a Blue Sparkle, little, shitty, a beginner kit, basically, like, a Sears kit, whatnot. And so he was working his way up to another kit, like a bigger setup, one more tom. So he goes, he knew I was really interested. And my mom would always buy me those, freaking Christmas kits, and I break it in an hour. You know what I mean? I was 7 years old or whatnot. And then Charlie said to my mom, "Hey, I'll sell you this drum kit for $25." I'm like, whoa. So I begged my mom, please, I really want this. And so she gave in, and then we just took the drums right over the porch, right into the basement. And that was it. That's what started it all for me. It was the next day I woke up, it was Sunday. I cleaned the drums. I was putting jewelry on there and everything. And I just always loved the look of a drum kit at first. I seen Ringo Starr in Hard Day's Night, and it honestly took me, until this day, I still have so much passion for drums. I have drums coming out of my ears, man. Seriously, it's great.
Sure.
Do you still have that kit?
I'm sorry?
Do you still have that kit too?
No, actually, no.
Yeah, John, I think you probably went from that kick to the next kit, which had the drums that they were curved, that had the
North. I actually wanted the North kit.
Yeah,
North
everybody wanted those things were the shit, man.
I kicked myself in the butt now, because they were blowing them out at the time at Sam Ash and on 48th Street in New York, and about like $700, and like, because they were going out of business, and it was I fucking knew I should have bought that kit. They were out there, but I don't. You know what? I could get one, but I honestly don't have the room anymore. Which is not a bad thing. I have so many drums. I have snare drums. I have 50 snare drums in my other room there. And now I decided to kind of collect pedals for some stupid reason. I want to get some old vintage pedals. Why not? Something to do. Especially during the lockdown. What do you buy? To keep yourself busy and amused, and you know what I mean? Just kind of normal.
Sure. Yeah. Is that what you kind of did? Just back us up and tell us what happened during the lockdown. Obviously, we saw some stuff online that was the cover stuff, which was super fun and awesome. But is that one of the things you did to kind of keep yourself going through the whole thing?
Yeah, I did. And luckily I have a rolling kit here, the V drum kit in my room, and I did a bunch of those jam outs, the lockdown jams, which is fun. I did one with Phil Demmel. We did it, and I got my friend Graham Bonnet, from Rainbow and all that. My brother played guitar on that, so there's a lot of fun. And I did a few of them. I did one for Cherie Curry and stuff like that, Cherry Curry, and but yeah, what happened was the band Mother Sister I'm in with Scott Ian and Jim Wilson, his wife Pearl, and Joey Vera. We were recording right before the lockdown at 606 Studios, Dave Grohl's studio. And a friend of mine knows someone who works at the governor's office, and said they're going to lock this place down soon. So I gave everybody the warning, and everybody's freaking out. Like, I remember I finished early, was running out. I ran to the grocery store and just stocked up, and Scott went to Whole Foods. It didn't happen for like another week, but still, we were, it's that panic mode. It's like, oh my God, they're coming for us. The world is coming to an end or whatnot. And I had a lot of fun. To be honest with you, I mean, still, coming off a tour, I'm pretty private. I'm more of a homebody and stuff, like hanging out. I go to my drum room, I do my thing, and but it started getting kind of like, oh shit, man, nothing's open. This sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least go down to a bar and have a drink, or see some friends or whatnot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you mentioned your brother, and I'm sure you've told the story 1,000 times in interviews and that kind of thing. But how was the relationship with your brother when you're growing up? So you're dragging the drum set over the porch from Vinny Caliuto. I'll call him. He's your neighbor. Certainly not. It's just
it's pretty close.
I can't remember.
That's DeLuccio.
Yeah, that's who I said. And so you're dragging the drums over the porch. And what's your brother doing at that time? Because what's the age difference?
He was young.
What's the age
difference? 2 years younger. He wasn't into me. I mean, he wasn't playing it, but later on, he wanted to play drums, and then he just picked up the guitar, and he picked it up pretty quickly, like, you know, around 14 years old, I would say, 15 years old.
Oh, you were a longtime drummer then.
Yeah, I mean, I started.
You've been playing for, you've been playing for 5-7 years at that point when he picked
and then 11, and Charlie Castelluccio, Vinny Colaiuta guy. He took my first concert. This is a good one. He asked my mom, "Hey, Mimi, I have an extra ticket. I want to take Johnny to the concert." It was David Bowie at the Garden, 1977, dude. So that's my first concert. And the drummer, get this, is Dennis Davis. And we had shitty tickets, but not for me because it was side of the stage. And, you know, I seen the drummer, and he had the North drums.
There you go. See, it all comes back to those drums, man.
That's why. And Dennis Davis and Matt Cameron from Soundgarden and I, you know, we're good friends. And he had seen that same tour, but in San Diego. So that's we're the same age, and you know, Chris Cornell, the same, you know, all the same age, and we always talk about that concert, man.
That's crazy.
It is. It's cool, isn't it? I'm on a super deep Bowie kick right now with my kids.
Oh,
and
so you want to hear something really? Even this will blow you. Well, it blew my freaking socks off, right? So every time I go to New York, I go to 48th Street, right? You know, there was a street, the Mecca stores, all like Manny's Music, Sam Ash. It was Music Row basically. And anytime I went there, I would go visit and see my friend Marco, who was a manager at the store. So one time, I think we flew out there for Zombie. We're doing a Letterman or something, and I go up the store, and I'm walking around just checking everything out. And this black dude's walking, and Marco goes, "Hey Johnny, you ever meet Dennis?" I go, "Dennis Davis." I went, "Dude, you're the first drummer I ever seen. Because of you, this is the reason I'm here and playing this. You know, thank you. I mean, honestly, you're one of my favorite drummers." And he goes, "Dude, I know who you are, man. You're killing it out there, blah, blah, blah." And I go, and 2 weeks later, we were playing Roseland in New York, sold out. It was our first Zombie show in New York, Rob Zombie. And that was a big one. So I go back 2 weeks later, the same place, and he's there again. And he goes, he goes, "I really want to go." And I go to Marco, go, "Is he serious?" He goes, "Yeah, man." So I put him on the guest list, right? And it's a big deal for me. It's a hometown show, like family's there, Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx, and everybody's there. It's a big show. And Roseland was an amazing place. Had the best fucking show. You know, I'm gonna kill it. You know, I'm just came off a stage. I'm in the dressing room. I get ready, changed, and there's a stairway. You go downstairs, you know, to get out and meet your guests and everything. I open the door. The first guy is Dennis Davis. You ready for this? He goes like this to me. He bows to me. Right. I told the story a million times. I still get the goosebumps, man. And because you know, that was it. I seen him play Madison Square Garden, and that was my goal to do that in my life.
And he turns around and respects you like that. It just blows your mind, doesn't it?
Fucking still does when I think about it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's those moments too where you've I can't say you've come so far from them, but you've aged and been through all of those experiences, played all these shows since that day, and still those things you go back to and go, "That was fucking awesome." You know what I mean? It's like that's how heavy it is, you know.
And when I tell people this story, they trip out. You know, it's a good, you know, it's in the book one day. You know, there'll be a lot of those cool stories and everything.
Yeah, and for a guy like you, it's probably up there with, I would think, that time we played Aces High on ShipRocked.
Oh, dude, I think that was still the best jam. Honestly, we're gonna do it again. I think we should do it one more time.
You guys should literally Groundhog Day that for the rest of your existence. That's
I told Nico I played that song too, man.
Did you?
Had a kick out of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's all. Chad, hey, listen, Chad. If I had my druthers, I would relive that day. That would be my Actually, I wouldn't even need it to be a day. I would just need it to be, 3 minutes and 38 seconds or whatever it was.
I would tune in.
Good.
Yeah. It's cool. We played it pretty fast too, didn't we?
It was, so maybe
3 minutes and 15 seconds. Probably.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, that was fun. I think we started I think we may have opened.
I think we did.
I think we may have opened the whole thing that night. It was the first song, so it was a lot of fun. So, Ed, you got what do you got on your list, buddy? Because I have like 17 things I want to talk to John about.
Well, who are you talking to? Chad?
Yeah, Chad.
Oh, I was going to ask you a specific question since we're talking about drums, and this is on my list. So you have your own snare drum, right? This stealth. So you have like 50 something snare drums at your house. Do you have obviously do you play on your own snare drum?
Always.
Pretty
honestly,
often?
in the studio, the Motor Sister record, I recorded my snare drum, and I bring out like the big one, the Bell Brass Tom of the '80s, the Terminator, But my snare drum, I'm not saying because it's mine. For some reason, it has all those great characteristics. It has like that wood tone. If I want to get that Alex Van Halen tone or that high poppy helmet sound, it just it's very well rounded. So and it feels great. And honestly, yeah, I've been playing it forever.
That's even cooler. For my follow up was so my band Wilson, that we did our second record.
Great band.
We did our second record in Atlanta, and the producer, we were going through all these fucking snares, all of them, and like Glow in the Dark Studios is where we're recording the drums at. And he pulls out, he's like, I got this new, at the time I believe it might have just came out, or maybe even had like an advanced copy. It was like, when did the snare actually come out again? It was like 2010 or 11.
My snare drum?
Yeah.
Good question. Around there, but I actually had the prototype of my snare drum when I was with Helmet, like back in 2005. We were still going through, like, I had some prototypes, and that's when I really cranked it, So yeah. But
I remember the dude saying, no one's played on this in this studio yet. So like, if you guys want to check it out, see if this works. And Pooey, our drummer, hits it again and hits it another time. He's like, this is the one. And we listened to like 20 different playbacks of different snares, and it ended up being the one that we used on the record. So, which is awesome. A funny story to bring up there, because I was like, I wonder if he actually uses it like in a consistent basis. Yeah.
Well,
then he loved it so much that the Easy Tune, Easy Drummer, is that what it's called? It's like
the tune track Easy Drum.
Everything that we demoed on, he also used your kit on.
That's so great. I texted him before he did this. Yeah. A lot of guitar players jam with that. It's a great pack. These guys from Sweden, I mean, they're like, and
it's that a lot of my stuff. Yeah, your pack is fantastic.
Andy Sneap, man, and
it's really great. And all, I mean, really that whole thing, and the Swedish guys, right? You mentioned that.
Yeah,
that whole thing. I mean, we're complete
at one time.
Yeah, we're completely nerding out on music here right now, and frankly, I love it. Because I mean, I use all the tune track stuff. I mean, like Easy Mix, Easy. I mean, hell, I use Easy Bass, Easy Drummer, Easy Keys, all that stuff.
Easy Bake,
amazing.
Easy Vape.
Easy. He's about it.
Easy Snacks.
Didn't we? Chad, before I forget, didn't we play Thin Lizzy, Boys Are Back in Town, right?
Yeah. Which is my favorite band of all time. And I was like,
me too. It's like, Brian Downey's one of my idols. Like the King of Swing, baby. I'm a huge fan. Yeah.
It was probably my crowning, especially, it was probably my favorite thing I've ever done on the ship, even beyond playing with Wilson, because it allowed me to not only feel like all those nights of eating the ramen, even if it's just playing with you for a moment, like eating the ramen, sleeping in the van or whatever, I got to go home from that ship and tell my dad that not only did I play a song by the band that we both love the most as father and son, but also by a drummer with a drummer that we both equally love from different projects. Like, he's a huge cult fan, and I go way, like, I love all your shit. So it was a cool, that was like that little check thing that I got to go back and say, hey, Dad, check this out. Thank you.
That was fun, dude. Yeah. Stevie was on guitar. Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Stevie. He's so good. Such a cool dude too.
Love that kid, man.
So that was my question about this. Yeah, let's do it. Do it right now.
Yeah.
Get the microphone.
So John, we've hung out on the ship and played a little bit of music together, and I've followed you and your career and all the bands that you played for. I love. What's your if I could be so bold, what's your personal life like? I'm not sure if you're married or you got kids or what.
No, I'm single, and I'm just, maybe I'm a loner. I don't know. I'm pretty private, and listen, this is the life I chose, and when it could be a time, it's hard to explain, but when the timing is right, something will happen. I think fate will take its place, but I'm really where I'm at right now. And this lockdown wasn't easy either. Going out, there was no way to go out and kind of mingle and stuff like that. But no, I have my dog, and I have a lot of good friends. I have my niece that's close by, and my brother, and life is good, man. And honestly, and I can just get up and go anywhere I want. You know what I mean? Without anybody saying anything.
How did you? Give us the maybe it doesn't need to be in the abridged version, but how did the Bronx Kid wind up in Los Angeles, and where are the key points during your life, both kind of before music was the thing you were doing for a living? Where were so it was the Bronx, and then give us the snapshot. How did you make your way there?
It was a fluke, man. Honestly, my buddy Dante, my best friend in New York, were like, dude, we got to go to LA. It was January, it's freezing cold in New York. We're like, fuck, the rainbow, the rock, everything looks so cool. This was like 1985, right? Mm-hmm. So there was an airline called People's Express, right? It was like $99 each way. This is in the 80s. So we got on the plane. We flew out of Newark, New Jersey, and he brought a bunch of little bottles of Bacardi, and we just hammered on the plane. We got this guy just hammered. So we got off the plane. We had no idea where we were going. We just got on the plane and went to Los Angeles. And it was, like I said, another thing, fate just took its way, its course. And we got off the airplane, get our luggage. We go, now this is taxi cabs right in front. There's no Ubers and stuff. We were lucky enough to get this older woman, older. She was probably like 10 years younger than my age now. Anyway, we get in the car. It's like, hey, we want to go to the Sunset Strip, and this is our budget. What's the best place to go? And we were just naive little kids. And she goes, oh, my son's in the band. So she brought us to the Park Sunset Hotel, which is now the Grafton on Sunset. I mean, this was like $75 at the time. So we went there, and get this, there was a Monday night, and it was too late to get a rental course. So we were close to Rainbow. We walked there on the Monday night. It was a rainy night. We go to Rainbow. It's empty. We ordered to have a burger, and across from us. So we're sitting in the booth, and across, we're looking. I go, holy shit, that's fucking Lars and James right there. And Byron Hontus. They were out there mixing Master of Puppets at the time, dude. Holy shit. So I went over, I go, hey guys, I'm friends with Anthrax and Lars. Oh yeah, give this a trolley, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. It was summertime, it was LA. I was like, oh, there's sunshine, and the going to Guitar Center, and it was open. I wasn't, it was clean, and going to clubs, and I knew that's where I wanted to be. And basically that was it. And then I met this girl. It was, and that's the reason I moved out to LA. Then I joined Exit. I was still with Anthrax, working for Mr. Tech. And when I went there, and I got the call to tour with Exodus, and that just changed everything right there.
It's crazy, and I hope that I can impart this on my kids. Is that sometimes you just have to do things. You just got to
get up and just do it. Get.
Yeah. So how old were you when you got on that plane?
Shit, 1985.
Okay, so you were what, you were 11. We'll go with that.
Basically, yeah.
We'll go with that.
I was a teenager, man. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
And the dude from Porky, he was at a hotel. He had the big Cadillac and stuff like that. Just to top it off.
That was real. That's real. You think that, it's real.
It was real. And I fucking went home flying home, and then my parents out. It was freezing. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like this. Nah, I don't want to be here anymore. And that's what I really thought. I need to get out of here. I want to get into my parents' house. And that was a good thing for me, like working with Anthrax. And later on, because I was, teching for them. It was kind of Charlie Askin was like, just hang out with my friends. And he, happened to know a lot about drums. And touring, I always say this, and if I do a drum clinic, like the next best thing to playing in the band is a drum tech. I mean, you're there and people have seen you play, and that's what led me to get to Exodus and Testament. They see me in soundcheck when Charlie's Kid, and
and they knew you would work for free.
I got paid. I didn't care. I
know. That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to Europe, and like the first tour I ever did was like with Anthrax, 2 weeks in Europe, opening for Metallica when Jason Newsted got in the band, So they had the makeup dates, and then a month later we're going to Japan. I'm getting paid. I'm hanging out with my friends. We're having the time of our lives because we're just kids. We're just ball breakers.
Yeah.
And I'm just traveling. I get to play and hang out with my friend. It was the best. I never give that up for anything.
I think that it sounds like you're basically doing that same exact thing right now.
You're a little bit older and everything hurts a bit more.
It hurts. It takes a little longer to warm up.
Like fucking wrist, man.
Yeah.
Frankie Bello and I, we went to high school together.
Yeah.
We had a high school band. Did he tell you that?
He did. We had him on the podcast. What, Chad? Episode 35 or something like that. Maybe.
Just say hi to you guys. Yeah. We would jam Iron Maiden songs and in the jazz band. Do this. Oh, fuck.
Is that how the whole? intro to being with Charlie and the and drum tech kind of gig came about? Was your friendship with oh no shit.
Yeah. Charlie went to the same school. I met Charlie first.
Okay.
We were a mutual friend, an older friend. Charlie was a couple years older, and we met at this bar, A Man's Castle. Scotty Ian gets the biggest laugh of that. A Man's Castle. That was the name.
As opposed to a woman's castle. Like that wasn't a thing.
And so we met, and we just hit it off, and we just had the same interest in music, the new wave of British heavy metal, and UK, and Terry Bozzio, and we were just like, and that was it. We became friends. I think I was 17 years old, And
shit.
Yeah.
See, I don't think I got that piece of the pie from I don't think you mentioned that. You just said he said hi, and that that you did this and that together recently.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it all stems from the neighborhood, essentially.
Absolutely, and I'm so grateful where I grew up, and at the time in the '70s, and all the older guys, they all freaking hot muscle cars and listen to music, playing stickball in the street. You don't get that anymore, man. These kids don't know what it's about. Hate to say it. Gotta get out.
Yeah. And hey, you probably feel the way that I do, because I always bring up my kids, but there's that thing where every day that goes by I sound more like the old man, right? It's like, get off my yard. But here's the thing, as you get older and get this experience and whatever version of wisdom you get, I think the old man was right.
Dude, let me tell you something, and I don't mean to diss anybody. Like, these kids are on YouTube, they're amazing. They're blowing it. I go, when I was a kid, I used to have to walk over a mile in the snow.
Of course, well, literally, yeah.
And I'm not
uphill.
This is the old man story with the a bag of rocks on the back. It was that. I have to walk to the lesson in the snow, freezing cold. I was probably wearing Capezios because that didn't help anymore. You know what I mean? Van Halen had Capezios, Ozzy.
Of course.
It was cool. It was 1981. So, and going there and taking the lesson, really getting into it, and walking all the way back, and my fucking, frostbitten toes and everything, and pulling out the lesson and studying it instead of going on YouTube and like copying someone, I mean, hey, everybody has their thing, but for me, I earned it.
Yeah.
What was that?
My friend was telling me a story the other day about this, and similarly, but it has to do with porn, in that he used to print the pictures out, and he was telling me about, I don't know why he was telling me that, it was actually Al. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, man, I used to print them out all the time, and then I go in the shower, slap it on the fucking shower. I'm like, oh shit. He's like, yeah, these kids these days, they don't know how hard it was just to pull one out to be gross or whatever. And I was like, yeah, damn, dude. Now that I think about it, it was pretty difficult. Like, I had to do all sorts of sneakery back in the day. And then, I didn't have to walk up a hill both ways with Caprizios on to go to my guitar lessons, but I did have a bike, and I had to get there to play guitar.
You rich kids, man, with your bicycle.
You know what I mean?
The Huffy too. So,
the coffee and the bicycle. Yeah, I see.
So Chad, Chad, let's do this. Chad, okay, so we got John's story, and this might be interesting. We'll go around the room, and Chad, you tell your story about what sent you as an artist on your path, like, because there's the one moment that kind of changed it. John was like, fuck it, I'm getting on an airplane, I don't know what's going to happen, but this seems like a fun, crazy idea, I'm bored as shit, I got to get out of here. What was yours, Chad?
I had a cousin who played guitar, and his name's Pete, and he had this, actually the Van Halen PV, I forget the model it was called, it had all the spray paint lines all over it, and it was always hanging in his room, and I wanted to play it so bad, but he would never let me play the guitar. I got to play the Sears and Roebuck one, and I was terrible at it. But then I met a kid. I originally wanted to play the bass guitar, and I met my best friend at the time, his name's Sadat. He and I started our first band in like middle school. He wanted to play guitar, I wanted to play bass, and I was learning how to play guitar on my cousin's guitar, and we just like, the funny story is my aunt gave me the guitar, so I never got to play bass. I just had to play guitar, and he got a bass for Christmas or something like that year, and we started playing every day in our neighborhood. I go over his house, or he would come into my parents' house in the garage, and then he had an older brother, funny enough. We would ride around with him, and he would let us listen to record CDs, and the CDC was playing, John, 9 Inch Nails and White Zombie. And then he took us to go see a White Zombie show. And it was the second show I'd ever been to. The first show I had been to was Black Sabbath with my father. And then
He's the greatest. Your father's the greatest living human being.
He was
That's
dope.
amazing.
He is dope. I shouldn't say he was dope. He's alive and he's awesome.
Okay.
His name's Dennis, and he might be listening right now. Hi, Dad. So he took me to my second show. My friend's buddy took us to our second show, your band, and then I went to the following week. I think I went to maybe a Deftones and Limp Bizkit show or something like that. And we were playing in a band.
Where was the zombie show? Was that with Pantera and Deftones?
Correct. Yeah, that's what the show was. That's what the tour was, and it was at oh my God, it would have been the big not the Palace, but the big amphitheater, Pine. It would have been either Harpo's or Pine Knob. It was one of those two.
Oh,
I saw. I'm in Detroit.
I was too big for Harpo's. No,
it was Pine Knob, which was called DTE now. I think.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And that, strangely enough, I saw the first show, Sabbath, there too. And then after that, we came back and we started to actually play music and write our own songs. And we were both in band. I played trombone, he played saxophone. But on lunch break, we would go and use the drum set and plug in
the real shit.
I love it. I love
small
it.
Small town in Michigan.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. And there's some great music out of Michigan, dude. Detroit Rock City, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say, these kids these days, they don't know, and I'm like, they're doing the same thing in the streets that you guys were talking about. It's just like, it's a little bit different. They're just doing burnouts and street racing and crazy shit to keep themselves occupied during this.
Absolutely,
and Detroit's probably one of the only places that's just still like, nothing's really changed,
It's cool. Like the local, the Detroit boy, Tommy Cluffados, Zombie drummer and Black Sabbath drummer. So there you go. You do concerts. How about that? He's a local
crazy,
boy.
man.
Great drummer, man.
Anyways, that's my. How about you, Al?
The defining moment was I was in college, and I was fairly dissatisfied with college, girlfriend problems, and for spring break '96. I spent some time after college playing around in bands and stuff. Lived in New York City for about 3.5 hours and realized I could not do the city because I grew up in Hornell, New York, which is 6 hours east of the city, and it's cows, not people. And it was just too overwhelming for me. I completely freaked out. So anyway, I went to college. And I was in college, and I was just not. I was in a weird curriculum that I wasn't really into. And my buddy had lived in Tennessee, and he's like, "Hey, come down here for spring break and just hang out." So I drove down to Tennessee. That would have been March of '96. And man, I showed up at his house and we went out drinking or whatever. And there was about 6 friends, kind of like what happened to you, John, but without the kind of the celebrity thing. But even then you didn't really feel like they were celebrities when you're meeting. Right. It was just kind of like, hey, you're cool. And this guy, cool, let's hang. Well, it was similar to this without any, it wasn't a musical thing. And I plugged in with my buddy and we went out, and I literally met 5-6 guys that I can name their names that wound up being my best friends today.
That's the best.
And that was on spring break, and I left that spring break and I drove home, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Mm-hmm. And so I somehow managed to get through that first part of college, one of the last semesters of college. Never finished college because same guy called me. He's like, he worked A&R at Warner Brothers in Nashville, and he called me and he's like, hey, there's a job in the opening in the mailroom. He's like, you got to get down here. He's like, I can get you an interview. I don't know what's going to happen. So I drove down there on a Saturday on a Tuesday in June, '96, interviewed on a Wednesday, bullshitted my way through it, got hired on Friday, and then drove back to New York State, 12 hours, loaded up my 1988 Pontiac Bonneville with everything that would fit in it, drove back down and started work at Warner Brothers Records on the Monday. So it's like, but the defining moment, like that spark where you're like, this is, where it just overwhelms you. You went out there, John, and you're like, this situation, the feeling I get, the sun, the music stores, the vibe, the people, you knew it. And when I came to Nashville, it was the same exact thing. And from there, I've got 6, 7 of my best friends who are still some of my best friends now from that spring break. And then when I moved here, it was just on. It was like great friendships, great times, youth. Yeah.
as far as like, because Nashville is blown up. Like everybody from LA left. That's like I heard like a friend moved from LA. It was hard to find a house. Like there's no inventory out there, you know.
Yeah, it's right now it's you know, that's the downside of being the it city, right? I mean, even when I came in 96, people who were there from 92 or 90 were like, man, you wouldn't believe it. It's changed so much. I mean, but not to me, because that was right. But now I mean, the boom really happened in 2002 to right now, where I mean, I drive down there probably once a month for a show, for something. And I'm like, okay, wait, this is Church. Okay, this is Church Street. When did that happen? You know, it's bang, bang, bang. It's a lot to take in. Like I said earlier, I'm not really a big city kind of guy. I'm just a hillbilly. So, you know, John, maybe like you, where it's like the big city's right over here, but I'm going to hang out in my little pocket here.
No, yeah.
And then,
I'm right here.
You know,
I like that. I feel like I'm out because I'm, you know, I get it.
Whatever you use to kind of cocoon yourself, and so you can kind of not feel safe, because I don't feel in danger, but you know, just like what you're comfortable with.
That's right.
But I did live the Nashville city life for a good stretch, and then got married and we got pregnant and realized it wasn't.
You got
so we're burbs now. Well, listen. This is how adult married people say that the wife got pregnant. We got pregnant.
We got pregnant together because you were there, by the way.
Yeah, I did something.
Yeah. I did the fun part, and boy, I did the fun part, and then you got to pay for it.
Of course.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, literally.
Where you at, Chad?
I'm here in Detroit.
You are in Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm right outside of I'm right outside of the city in Royal Oak. I'm trying to think of it. I'm 2 blocks away from the Royal Oak Music Theater. If you're familiar with the venue that's downtown here, that's like a 2,000 cap room, right by the zoo.
How is it building down there? Because I remember like we played the Fillmore right there, and there's the lofts occurred. There was that bar, and the guy he owned the whole loft up there, and it looked like an amazing building. I could see the whole place just blowing up. And I remember we played a show out there. They were filming Transformers back then with Mark Wahlberg and stuff.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's like
we had the film incentive here for a while.
It's a big thing.
It was like really cool when they had that film thing going on here, and then it went away, as most cool things do. But I think they actually have plans for them to offer the incentive again in the next year or so. But downtown Detroit is a whole other thing. I used to live down there in 2008 to 14, I think. Or 13s, and it wasn't like anywhere near the Cass corridor that you probably had seen throughout the years, but it was still pretty at that point in time, not quite there. And I was in the neighborhood called Woodbridge, about a block or two away from where you were literally playing last time you were here. And now it's like all of that, the infrastructure you're talking about, it's just like tripled in size. They moved the Pistons to downtown. They got, they have a whole new fucking arena for the Red Wings, all of that. They are all on play underneath the Little Caesars Arena roof. It's crazy there.
Wow.
I lived between here and Los Angeles until the pandemic ended. Until August of 2020, but yeah.
Dude, I'll never forget like not the first time. The first time actually I played in Detroit was with Exodus. It was a place called Blondie's. There's like
Blondie's,
GBs, of like this sweat box, middle of summer, man. Like holy shit, sweating, sweating ceilings and all. But I remember playing Harpo's and Anthrax in 1987 Among the Living tour, working for them, and like everything was like you go into a grocery store, it's all shielded up. Like wow. It's like the Bronx. It was very similar to like what I grew up in. So
it still is like that. And where the Harpo's is still that exact sort of terrifying space.
And Harpo's is still happening, right?
I mean, yes and no. Eddie, who owned it for years, sold it to the guy who owned Blondie's back then. He was trying right before in 2019 or 18, I believe, trying to like revitalize it because they still had shows, but it was the same. Nothing changed about the interior. The pit there is actually a pit. It's terrifying. In the parking lot is like just full of like memories of death. So he was trying to kind of like make all of that dirty putty and turn it into something that people wanted.
Putty.
Dirty putty.
Like, look at this. It's not dirt anymore. It's
I feel like we just named another side project for the three of us.
That's a dirty putty.
Dirty putty. Yeah. So if you guys haven't noticed, we are currently live on Facebook with Making Waves, the ShipRocked podcast. We have the lovely, talented, multi-talented and complex John Tempesta here. Everyone knows his resume, and we just spent 30 minutes or so just rapping with him about the goings on in the world. And if you want to check out that version of the podcast, that'll be dropping on Monday, so keep a lookout for that. And so here we are. Welcome everyone in Facebook land. Here we are, and we've just I think we've covered it all, so I think that's a wrap.
That's a
see you guys.
Yeah. That was fun, dude. So we could honestly, I feel we could talk for like another 2 hours, just stories and everything.
I know.
By the way, so you were saying your second concert was Van Halen, right, Chad? Oh, I'm talking
no.
Black Sabbath.
Yeah, my first concert was, yes. My second concert was your concert.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you ready for this one, Al? Big Al?
Ready,
my
always.
Second concert after Bowie was Sabbath, with Van Halen opening for Sabbath in '78, Madison Square Garden. Van Halen won, and no one knew who the fuck Van Halen was, right?
Yeah.
I walked in the garden, me and my friends, this funky. We see the bass drums and the gas. We're like, who the fuck? And it so happened that our seat in Loge in the garden, the light guy would be up there, and it happened to be Pete Angelus, that I realized later on.
Yep.
So we're talking to him like, hey, you want some weed? Like, no. So who is this band? They're from California. We're like, really? That looks insane. Go, just wait, kids. They went on stage. They fucking smoked Sabbath. So I mean, we're fucking Sabbath fanatics. I mean, Sabbath was done. It was the last. It was Never Say Die tour 78, you know. And but I honestly, I've never seen any band blow anybody except for like maybe Pantera or something. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
You know, they would like, you know, you'd be scared to have someone open up like that. So
yeah, the pressure. I mean, I you might know this better than me, John, but that was kind of the word on the street, was that a lot of bands didn't want to play with Pantera or Van Halen. It's like, you know, it's like, that sounds like a really nice opportunity, but God, we're just gonna. I mean,
are you kidding me? I was with Exodus. It was Exodus and Suicidal Tendencies, where the co-headlining tour and Pantera's first tour. They opened up. They smoked us every night. Yeah. Suicidal, not so much, but like, you know, I mean, I'm just being honest. We had some great show, but Pantera, they were kids. They were on fire, man. Yeah. It's undeniable. You know what I mean? They're gonna come out of their little mobile home, you know, their little camp or whatever. They had one of those GMC Airstreams, whatever the fuck they were back then. It's on the first video if you see it, like, you know, the home videos. They destroyed the thing, but it was great. We had some
and maybe that goes back to our conversation we had earlier that folks can catch up on the podcast, where it's like the grumpy old man thing, right? Because I have a theory on that. And living in the concert world and the live music world that I do every day, the bands that really hone their craft live and play. I mean, how many shows you figure Van Halen and Pantera played before anybody even watched them? And that's what it is. Like learning how to play your instrument, standing up under pressure, under lights, and like figuring out that vibe. It takes 5-7 years to even start to get good at that.
Honestly, you know? And it's like Pantera. They were a club band. They played Joe's Garage. And when I rolled through town with Anthrax in 1987. You know, we were friends, and I was introduced. I think John Rooney knew Rita and blah blah blah, and Scott and Charlie knew her, and Dime. And we went to the club with a day off, and me and John, Scott Ian's guitar tech, we went up and we jammed Medusa with Pantera. Vinny, what are you sniffing?
Luna, we're live. Oh, does she not know that we're live? I mean, what's
she does. She's like,
that's why
what's up, world?
Like, what's up? No, she comes up. She knows live when she hears it. Yeah.
Who's that? Luna. Who's that?
Luna.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's in. So no, and that was it. Oh, okay, I gotta talk. So and honestly, we jammed and fuck, and they were so much fun. And these guys, I mean, as a cover band, they played Priest. I'm like, they were scary, man. And this is, you know, then they got their record deal. And I remember I got an advance of the record, and I said to her, I got, this record's amazing. Cowboys from Hell. I heard it for the first time, and that's right, you heard it too.
He was tight.
Yeah.
And then found out they're touring with us with Exodus and Suicidal. I'm like, oh, dude, my friends. And they just smoke, man. They just blew up from there. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, God, I miss those guys, man. Unbelievable. You know, there'll never be another like that.
No, I know. And Phil,
the Van Halen of you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, I agree. It was the next phase. It was the next level, if you will, to avoid the pun. Who is there? I was going to ask you, is there who do you have? Do you pay attention to new music? Who do you like? What's happening? What's the John Tempesta playlist these days?
Yeah, you want to see what's on my playlist? This baby right here, dude, a box set of this.
Yeah,
that's what's on my playlist.
Yeah. Well, and I see you've got the whole Macintosh system, the whole deal, right?
Yeah, man, it cranks.
Yeah.
You know what? As a kid, I always wanted a Macintosh. And honestly, it's one of those things. And then I used to go to John Varvatos' store in New York City, which is, used to be CBGB's. I'm like, I gotta have one of these one day. And like, it's Macintosh. You have it for life. But then a friend of mine that I met, and he worked for them, and he kind of like hooked me up. At a nice, pretty good discount.
Yeah.
With a discount helps.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like my car payment right there. So it's okay. But it's something I do every day. It's like, listen, I'm endorsed by all my drum companies. I have there's some things you always you work hard, and like sometimes you want to buy something nice for yourself. So there's no guilt in that.
No, totally, man. You deserve it for sure.
It's got to feel good to like to work all your life, and you, like you said, you're now at the spot where you don't have to really think about if you're going to be able to. I mean, in my band, Pooey, our drummer, would be like, dude, can I borrow some money? I don't have enough money to replace the cymbal I broke, until like that happened. That's like an achievement list. But once you don't have to like actually think about the tools that you use besides your body, to be able to spend that earning not on your like actual, because drums are fucking no joke, man. Like, oh, dude, I've always felt sorry for him.
But listen, when I was a kid after school, like going with Frankie in high school, I take the train after school. I had early classes, and I was a messenger, just walking messenger, and made minimum wage, what, $3.35 an hour or whatever at the time, and I would always go to 48th Street with the music. So every day I wanted messages there, and I would spend a lot of time and seeing what new gear came in, and I saved my money, man. It took a long time to get one cymbal on that weight, but it's amazing. But you know what? Sometimes, pay my dues. I'll tell you that,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Get that system. I'm just saying, like, being able to like actually take that, like, the transfer of a goods for a service, or whatever it is, like, it's very few times that you're going to ever have to use that stock, if you will, to towards the job you do, right. So to be able to actually like afford something that you love with it.
Yeah, it's like Chad. When you were cutting meat at the grocery store, you would just put that meat right down your pant leg as you clocked out.
I was like, I don't need any meat
because they knew one side already had the meat in it, the other side had the new meat in it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's a
full meat guy, Nicefield. That's
what you know what they call that? The French benefits, man. Yeah. So John, you could have been like, well, you were kind of like me, except I had the added caveat of my father ran a music store selling pianos and organs. And my dad was a great piano player, still is. Chad still is, and like Dennis is still is. And he said, I'm sure he was a piano guy, and there was a little guitar section in the store that a buddy of his ran.
Yeah.
And I asked for a guitar for my birthday. He bought me an acoustic guitar, and I was like, Dad, I want an electric guitar, pissing and moaning, because who wants to play the acoustic? And he's like, well, if you learn a Christmas song before Christmas, I'll buy you an electric guitar for Christmas. So I was like, okay. So 45 minutes later, I could play, Jingle Bells. He's like, oh, okay. So he bought me an electric guitar for Christmas. That was a piece of shit. You would have thought that my dad, like, he worked in a music store. He plays jazz piano. Like, Dad, like, what are you doing? Yeah, it was a piece of shit. It was a piece of shit. Now, you should have a piece of shit your first instrument. It's okay, right?
No, you have, yeah.
But I was like, Dad, I've proven to you that I'm over there in the store every day, yanking off to the guitars like every day after school, and you buy me this piece of shit. The strings are this far off the frets. Like, Dad, what kind of dickhead? If he's listening
from the back, some guy from the back door just handed to him.
Come on, Dad, just grab something. But I did what you did. I said I saved up, man.
I saved up. And it feels so good, honestly, when you save and you earn it, you know what I mean? It makes it better. Listen, you know, when you get to a level and like we're talking about endorsements, it's great and the company support you and it's a beautiful thing. And but you know, when you're a kid, everything is so much different, or you know, you feel a little bit more, you know, when you're younger. Maybe years later, and I wouldn't say jaded, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that gets involved with that, you know, and you take this, take that. Oh, thank you. But when you buy something, you know what I mean? That's something like when I buy the system, like, you know, it means a lot to me because, you know, I love music. I love listening to music, and why not playing on a good system? So
yeah, for sure. So what we do,
you know,
we do a little segment on the podcast here on the live section called Walk the Plank.
I take my shirt off. It's no big deal.
I leave my pants on.
That's it.
and we all leave, you know.
Yeah, just see what you do.
So it goes a little something like this. What did you get in trouble for the most when you were young?
Playing my drums. I mean, not with my parents, but like the neighbors and neighbors come. My dad always stuck up for me, and my dad's Italian, Enzo, real strong. Like, are you shut your fucking mouth? I come over, I smack your face. My son that plays the drums, you know what I mean? He's you know, so basically drumming. And then I used to play baseball. I used to break everybody's windows for some reason. Yeah.
Oh wow, you graduated from stickball to baseball, huh?
Yeah, and I was in a little league. They used to call me Johnny Break a Window because I, you know, in the driveway, I just everybody's window, I just break the windows. And it was my mom buying another windows. So yeah.
Do you still have a passion for baseball and sports?
I do. I mean, yeah, it was like, it's so weird you say that because I have a Baltimore Orioles hat that I got a guy on the cruise gave to me because my favorite ball player at the time was Brooks Robinson. So that was my number, and I played third base as a kid. And then so I wear it. People are like, why do you wear a Baltimore Orioles hat? You're from the Bronx. I'm like, because I like Brooks Robinson. You know, Yankees, but I was a Mets fan growing up because my uncle had season tickets for the Mets growing up.
Yeah.
So I would go see them, and then I became friends with Mike Piazza. And I moved back to New York in '99 and 2001. And then
that was his time right there, man.
Series. He had his own box. I used to go there.
Oh yeah.
With my friends. That was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
It's funny. He goes, did you see that shot after the game? They would take him out because they were already winning. We had in the bar. We're watching the game. He goes, "Hey, did you see that shot?" Like, what the fuck are you doing here?
you can leave the stadium during the game.
Oh yeah, I guess
he could. Like, yeah. Isn't that? I always thought that was really cool. Like when there's the guy, like the athlete guy, right? And he does what he does, and everybody admires that, and everyone's like, "Oh, whoa, that's crazy, man! How cool is that?" You didn't necessarily have a dream to be a professional athlete, a baseball player, but it's like, you know, it's kind of like your idols and that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden they turn around with you and watch you do what you do. And they're like, God, I would love to be able to play an instrument.
Right. That's totally it. Like for me, like I freak out, like, you know, I know a lot of my friends are rock stars and meeting my peers. But if I was to meet De Niro, so I like shit my pants. So like even Mike, you know, sports, it's a whole different thing. And and you're right. I think they feel the same way. Mike would come to our shows and like, he's so metal out. I can't believe how much metal he was into, like King Diamond and stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I go, Josh, show me this beat, man. Yeah. I just give him like, you know, a couple drum lessons here and there. It's pretty funny.
Super cool. I remember the Mike Piazza, Roger Clemens showdown was pretty awesome.
I was there at his house because that was his first All-Star game he missed. And we watched it. We didn't watch it. We just, you know, had the family around at a barbecue and like, Mike is really chill. He just kept it quiet, but he should have beat his ass though.
Chad, what do you got for Walk the Plank?
Yeah, man. So it's I want to know, John, if you could take a professional lesson from somebody for any activity other than the drums, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's why we call it walking the plank, John.
Yeah, so music
could die.
Music?
Yeah, you could literally fall into the ocean and be eaten
music
alive by sharks.
No. Just anything. It could be literally, you know.
I would say guitar lesson like Eddie Van Halen, you know.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's a
so he named
those guys, you know, and like I mean, come on, you know.
Yeah, you named the instructor too.
I could also go John Bonham, but I just, you know, something different, you know. If you know, why not?
Yeah.
Guitar. Yeah. Eddie Van Halen.
Like proper lesson too, like, you know, like I picture you with the book, just walked up the hill, you know, with your guitar
in your boot
on, got your capris there.
Yeah.
You show up a little early, you know, he's gonna be late because every guitar lesson I haven't took, he was there like 20 minutes late, and I had an hour, and I only got 40 minutes, but I didn't dare say a motherfucking word about that shit. I gave him my $25 and left. But during that 25 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever, it was my time to just watch this guy and ask questions.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it, man. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Fuck no, I can't.
Yeah.
So tight.
Well, there's some of those out there, John. You might be interested in that. Speaking of Randy Rhoads, there's a couple of those out there. There was this guy that took a bunch of lessons from Randy Rhoads, and he recorded them all.
Oh, really?
And he has some of the the photos of the music and the notes that Randy wrote out for him. It's super cool. I'm sure you can just search Randy. Dude, I met
Randy in '81 at the Palladium in New York.
No way.
Ever, a Blizzard of Oz. And I'll make this really quick.
Don't make it long. I don't care.
Motorhead opened up for them. It was Ace of Spades, their first tour. It was at Blizzard of Oz, I believe, was the second concert of the tour. They did 2 nights. I cut out of school. Luckily, my parents were on vacation in Hawaii because I could never get away with this shit, So I won't get into mostly, but me and my friends cut out of school. At the last class, we went down, and there was a side door, a stage door that you would meet, that everybody has to go through that door. And that's where we met Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. And so Randy came in a limo and said hi to him, and Tommy Aldridge and Lemmy and Filthy Phil. And anyhow, we snuck up. We had shitty seats, first row, and banging on Lemmy's boots. It's insane. And I seen Ozzy I was 8th row and watching Randy Rhoads, like Revelation Mother Earth. I was like, honestly, I seen Van Halen, right? I seen Eddie, and then I seen Randy. I was like, fuck. And then after that night, the summertime, we kept going. We found out where Ozzy was staying, Plaza Hotel. We went to Max's Kansas City. It was still open. We walked all the way from 14th Street to 59th Central, Plaza Hotel. Summertime. We see Ozzy's bus out there, and knock. I was like, "Is Ozzy here?" With little stupid kids, like, "Oh no, he's here." So we go back. We're in the park, Central Park. We're just freaking out because this is the most amazing concert we ever seen. Right? They did 2 shows that night. The second show, they played No Bone Movies, and out of nowhere, it's like 7 a.m. Not even the sun's not even come up. Out of nowhere, fucking Ozzy comes out of the park walking with Sharon. Well, I'm like, what the fuck? Hey guys, I'm like, it's fucking Ozzy. So he walks over. He goes to the bus. The bus driver said, "Oh, these kids are cool." He goes in the hotel. 10 minutes later, Sharon comes out, whistles, "Come on over." I get up. We're like, who the fuck are they whistling at? There's nobody around. It's just us in the park, right? It's black. Get up. I'm freaking out. Start running. My friend says, "Oh, chill out, dude. We got to keep this really cool. Keep it fucking cool." So we go up to Ozzy and Sharon and go, "Hey guys, would you like to have breakfast with us?" This is 7 a.m. on a fucking Sunday. On a Sunday, 7 a.m. because we have
the Sabbath, no pun.
Hotel. We sit down. Ozzy goes, "Bring us a bottle of your best champagne." Goes, "Sorry, sir, we can't serve any alcohol." He's like, fucking bullshit. "Well, bring me some beers then." It's like, "No, we can't serve it." It's like, fuck, So, and Ozzy goes, I'm gonna go to my room. I'm gonna go do a bump or whatever. And you want to hit a new record? So, and we're sitting with Sharon, like scared kids, and we can't even eat our food, So he comes back down with the tape. "Hey guys, let's go to the tour bus." Puts on the fucking tape. I'm sitting next to Ozzy. This is an old Florida coach. It's the same bus that there was a Randy was in. They were all, the brown bus. And Ozzy's sitting, right across from me. He's whacked out of his head, And he puts on the tape, it's Diary of a Madman before it came out. So we just seen 2 concerts of Blizzard of Oz. And all of a sudden I hear Over the Mountain. And we're like, we're just looking at each other. Is this fucking happening?
Yeah.
Ozzy gives us a beer, like, it's 8 in the morning, like, listen to fucking the whole record. And like, no one's ever going to believe this. So afterward, we were going to school, I think the next day. It was a Monday. Like, no one's going to believe this. So he gave us passes and signed it, and I still have it in the tour book and everything too. So.
That's amazing.
And that is, it's so amazing how that works out. As a kid, like I said, I was in high school and touring with Zombie, like playing Ozfest, and then as far as Charlie's Tech and the Anthrax opened for Ozzy. And when I said that to Sharon, I go, "Hey Sharon, remember me? It was 1988, and No Rest for the Wicked tour." She goes, "Oh my thought you were just a baby.
Yeah, and speaking of which, when you said no one would believe you, Sharon probably didn't believe you either.
No, oh my God. And she had me tell the story to all the wives, Geezer Butler's wife and everything. And like, I had to leave a lot of stuff out, but yeah. So,
but John, that's the thing. You probably carried that with you, because unless you have that thing where you're a true fan and you're hunting that stuff down, now where you are, it's like when you see fans of a band, it's like there's an understanding, no matter how far long ago it was, there's an understanding there. And if you don't have that understanding, it can make you a pretty jaded person, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, man. And just watch the whole fact that them inviting us over for breakfast, you know what I mean? Just those little things, man. Little things. We came like listen to, and before anybody heard that record, kids in high school, and he put in the Metal Hammer magazine. He talked about the whole story of that. And Charlie actually has that magazine, which I need to fucking hunt down somehow. Yeah.
Wow.
It's got to be online somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have two more fan questions. I have one more question from me, and then another fan question for Walk the Plank here. Speaking of No Bone Movies and Over the Mountain and all those songs, right? What song is it, if you had to pick one, that evokes the strongest emotions from you? What elicits the most emotional response? Any song that elicits the biggest emotional response
from my playing?
Any song that you listen to. It could be the Beach Boys to
I'd have to say that one right there.
That's the one.
Can you see that? Rainbow?
Yeah.
Stargazer.
Oh yeah.
Cozy Powell.
Stargazer.
That's one of my favorite. As a kid, I had to do a whole story on the song and everything, but
really,
it's the way this song starts with Cozy. It's one of the best drum fills ever, and it's like and Dio's vocals and the fucking Ritchie Blood, the lead, and just like the keyboard. It's like it's a perfect fucking song. It's a long song, and I think just the arrangements, it's just perfect, man. I mean, it's got it all, you know.
It's interesting because people like my kids will ask me like, what's your favorite song? And I find the question to be so silly, right? Because it's so like, are you kidding me?
A million songs.
But we asked John Tempesta and he goes, oh yeah, I got it.
It's always in
right here.
It's just interesting. It's just that's really interesting that you could come up with one. If someone asked me, I'd be like, and then 30 seconds later, I'd be like, no, man, maybe it's not my favorite. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, there's a million song records, but that one always just, you know, it's been it for me as a kid.
Okay, here's the last question. I'm gonna take one from Karen.
Karen,
if you never had to sleep again, what would you do with the extra hours?
Go on ShipRocked.
Oh, wow.
Just
put a bottle cap right on that fucking soda.
Ladies and gentlemen, and that is called a transition, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Man. That is a segue of champions. So let's talk about ShipRocked and your experience there. Obviously, you know, this is the ShipRocked podcast, but we're always out there, you know, any music fan that wants to tune in. But you know, we get a lot of our podcast friends and family are ShipRocked folks. And so tell us, you know, give us your impression of the people of ShipRocked and your best memories on ShipRocked.
Everybody's just so cool and chill. I mean, because I talk to band members like, are you gonna have those fans like come up and bug you all the time? I'm like, no, it's not like that at all. Everybody's just having a good time because it is a vacation. I mean, it's amazing. And there's everywhere you turn, there's a band playing here and there, outside the deck, inside, and you get off the boat. You have all these like, you know, things to do. I went pretty much everywhere, right? The Bahamas to Key West to Mexico to Turks and Caicos, right? That was cool.
Yeah. 16, 17, and 19 you were on.
Wow.
So and I've done so many, I can't remember what was,
I was the first time I've been on the cruise, just flying, because you know, living in Los Angeles, doing a whole flight back with the sea legs, man. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You know what always gets me is the first shower you take once you get back to your normal shower, and you put your head in it and you're kind of washing your hair and you're like, whoa, holy shit.
Oh,
man. You kind of run into the walls and
But I always have a blast when I keep doing it. I can't wait to do it again, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Karen, thank you for Karen, thank you for the question. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Karen.
Very much. Well, we are running up to the 8 o'clock hour here, ladies and gentlemen, and we'd like to thanks to John, obviously, for joining us tonight. We appreciate it very much, and it's great to catch up with you, John. You know, we just see each other so briefly, and thank you. I guess it was before. It was in not early 20. You were kind enough to sign a drumhead for a drummer friend of mine who was battling ALS, and it was a fundraiser, and you got that to me right away, and that went to a great cause. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. And I mean, I feel like we've covered every single topic we could discuss.
I got one real quick.
Yeah,
I heard that you might have a record coming out. You guys have, has the Cult started recording something? Or
there's been a process. Billy's been in the UK, and the producer for the next record is Tom Delgetti, a great producer. He did a lot of the last couple Ghost records, and
incredible.
God, he's in a bunch of bands, but he's great. So Billy worked on stuff, and Ian's working on lyrics. But because of, obviously the pandemic, we haven't had a chance to all get together. Our last show was in December of 2019. So, and our first show will be October 27th in San Diego. Almost 2 years, man. That's a long time.
Yeah,
just want to check in progress and see if everybody that's listening is going on.
Yeah, thank you for that, Chad. What are you gonna do to get? I mean, look, it's 2 years, right? I mean, you've been playing around the house. You got your electronic drum kit. I mean, you're gonna have you guys.
I actually have a gig I'm doing in 2 weeks that I can't really talk about.
Okay. Thanks for mentioning it then.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I just want to give you. You'll probably read about it somewhere.
Okay. All right. So we knew about it first, kind of. We kind of knew about it first.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's kind of exciting.
But I mean October, right? So are there a couple things in between to keep you fresh? Because we talked earlier on the podcast where it's like, boy, you get older and warming up might take a little bit longer. How do you
about that? I mean, like I said, I try to play every day and go to my drum room, and but we'll see what this thing I'm doing in a couple of weeks. It could lead to something up until that point. So we'll see.
Yeah,
cool. I don't know yet. I can't wait to keep we will keep our ears to the cement.
Yeah, the cement.
We say cement.
Soundtrack.
Cement. It's like the Bronx. Cement.
Cement. Yeah, but that's real in the South here. It's cement. It is absolutely cement. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Cement. Well, cool. Well, thanks.
About cement earlier, so that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I mean, they call that a callback, right? Yeah. Well, hey, ShipRocked family, thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out here. The full episode of this lovely nonsense will be appearing on the internet where you get your podcasts and YouTube on Monday at 8 a.m. Central. Please remember to go out there and tell the world about our podcast. Help us spread the word. We appreciate you very much, your support. And if you do so, help out everyone. It makes you immune to any STD. It helps increase your liver function and just lowers your bad cholesterol from what I'm reading here. So thank you so much for your support, and thank you to Chad for being here with us. Thank you, Chad, for holding my hand as I tried to fill in for the young and talented Justin Press. Hopefully I did a good job holding his seat down for the day. Thank you to Jennifer Zito, our show engineer, who's out traveling with some form of man right now. So she's not with us tonight. She's usually in the background helping us out. Heather Smith, our show coordinator, and obviously our esteemed Captain Alan Koenig, without whom none of this would be possible. And John Allen sends his very best.
Hi, Alan.
We would like to remind everyone to rock hard and vacation harder. We will see you on the ship. And John, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. Great to see you.
It was a lot of fun, man. Definitely.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you. Chad, good night, my friend.
Hey, good night, everybody. Carl says good night. Says good night to Luna.
Yeah, let's have one good night kiss from Carl and Luna. Come on. We got to do this. There we go.
Oh yeah, look at
All right.
See y'all. Be good. See you guys.
Guys, have a good one.